This week has been tough in the trans community, and honestly, there are a lot of weeks, a lot of days that are just really, really hard. But the news that has come out this week seems to be particularly bad. Today, news came of the 11th trans woman murdered this year. And what makes this murder particularly horrendous is that there were witnesses, and it looks to be premeditated. She was called over to a car, and as she was talking to the people, they reached out and they slit her throat. And someone saw that from their window. They watched and even said, the witness said, that they anticipated what was going to happen. And yet the police say that from the time they can tell from video surveillance that it happened to the time that anyone called in about it was about 20 minutes. And there are other surveillance videos that also show people came over and looked at her crumpled on the ground and bent over her and then walked away. Earlier this week, we had the 10th murder victim. So Kenton was yesterday. India was earlier this week in Florida. And India was a trans woman of color. A few days ago, a friend of mine posted a video that her friend in Florida had posted when she had been beaten for being trans, and she called the police and the police did nothing. A few days before that, we had a trans woman named Megan who was in Iowa staying with a friend in a hotel, and because there were 2 trans women in a hotel staff decided they must be prostitutes and they called the police. There's been another trend this week happening on Facebook where women are posting little diatribes about how Caitlyn Jenner and other trans women are not real women and how they're not courageous, and courage is being beaten and being able to leave that relationship, or being a single mother, or pushing a 10-pound baby out, or whatever. They've decided that they know what being a woman is, and they're trying to invalidate the existence of every trans person out there by saying that their way is womanhood and that's it. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this. That attitude is what leads to people being murdered and beaten. I'm tired of people saying that their opinion matters, because you know what? It doesn't matter. An opinion that has no facts behind it is just stupidity, and it just makes you look stupid because you don't know anything. Personal beliefs, again, I don't care about them. I go based on facts. Being transgender is a real thing. It's medical. It's science. Look it up. And I'm not talking about your 7th grade XXXY chromosomes. Dig a little bit deeper, because we know more than that. And really, the science of it doesn't matter. I don't care if you understand it or not. Your right is not to invalidate someone else's existence. It's just not. Your ignorance is causing people to die. You might not be the person in the car pulling up and cutting someone's throat. You might not be the person who beats a trans woman with your fist and kicks her when she's on the ground. But you are still complicit if you invalidate trans people's existence. You are complicit if you make jokes about Caitlyn Jenner or anyone else being a man in a dress. Because that allows people to think that trans people have no value. It allows them to think that treating them as less than human is okay. And you know that 41% statistic we have about trans people attempting suicide? It's probably higher than that, because there are so many out there that we never hear their stories. And you might think that you have no role to play in that either. You might be one of those people that says, well, if you're transgender, obviously you have mental issues. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but we don't call it gender identity disorder anymore, because the person's identity is not the problem. It's called gender dysphoria. because they know that their gender doesn't match their body. But the problem that they have is with society. It's with other people. And when they end up getting medical care and they're allowed to transition and they're allowed to be who they know they are so much happier. It's you who is causing the problem. I'm tired of this. Ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance is murder. You are complicit in murder. You are driving people to kill themselves, and you are driving other people to think that attacking trans people is okay. Educate yourself. Treat other people as humans. You don't have to understand them, but they are humans. Basic dignity is what every human being deserves. Ignorance is not bliss. This has to stop.